Rassie Erasmus has named a 35-man squad. This will be the squad that takes on Wales before they then have those home test matches against Ireland, which, by the way, I will be out in South Africa watching, taking the channel there. So make sure you hit subscribe because I'll be out there and reporting back from the games and all the action in South Africa, as well as all of the international rugby, which, as excited as I am about all the cups being dished out, the Premiership Trophy yesterday, the Champions Cup Trophy a couple of weeks back, and the URC and top 14 finals still to come, I am very excited about the upcoming international series. And South Africa have named a 35-man squad. This is their latest training camp, which, well, I'll put it up, and thank you to Jared Wright on Twitter for putting this in a really handy graphic. So go and check him out on Twitter for all sorts of good rugby content. I thought I'll give you the credit for saving me a job. And you can see it is a squad, 35 names, many of them very familiar, World Cup winners. It is stacked and it features 11 new caps. So on this video, I thought I'll just run through those 11 new caps. I thought I would just highlight some players that I would say are probably feeling a bit hard done by being left out. And I'm going to pick 3 players out of this 35-man squad who I think could break into the test arena properly and take the step up and be very much alongside all of those big names that you recognise there. Remembering that there are some players not in that squad who will come back into the reckoning, definitely for those Ireland test matches, because this does not include players who play in the UK and Ireland, although because they are not involved in any rugby at the moment, Hondre Pollard and Jasper Wiese are in the squad to train but not to play. And also this does not include players that are representing the Bulls because they are still in the URC and will be hosting Leinster in that semi-final next week. So, I mean, that just puts in perspective when you consider all those players, UK and Irish clubs, Bulls, that can come into this squad, and the players that I think are hard done by, and you just get a sense of just how stacked South Africa are. So as for the 8 new caps then, or, well, I say 8 new caps, the uncapped players that are hoping to get their cap, starting with Neithling Fouchier, tight head prop for the Stormers. He's had a fantastic season, nothing less than he deserves. He's been so reliable for them when they haven't had Franz Malherbe for a big chunk of the season. 31 years young, and he's in his first Bok camp, which is just quite a nice story in itself. Remains to be seen whether he is in the pecking order, because there are some big players to come back in, and he's already in the list, the third choice you'd imagine out of the ones that are there. His teammate at the Stormers, Andre Hugo Venter, excellent season at hooker for them. And again, it will be interesting to see where he is in the pecking order when all players are available. But this is nothing less than he deserves. They get to go and have a look at him then. You've got Ben Jason Dixon, who, I tell you what, this guy, what is he, 25? Very much in the Peter Steph Toy mould. A lock / back row player that plays on the flank in that 7 jersey for the Stormers and just goes around and hits people all day long. Massive defensive energy he brings. It'll be interesting to see where he is in the pecking order when Elric Lowe for the Bulls is in the mix. I imagine he might drop down a spot, but he's got the chance in camp to impress. Buthelezi in the back row there, big ball carrier for the Sharks at number 8. Again, I think much like Ben Jason Dixon, where will he be in the pecking order when Cameron Hanekom or even Gumede for the Bulls come back in to the reckoning? Without Jasper Wiese able to play, an opportunity with all those guys unavailable right now. And how many players have you seen in the past that have had a sniff and taken their chance and not looked back? That's all the action. The 4 uncapped players in the forwards. Most of the action is in the back line. And before I get into this, that's Morne van den Berg, scrum half for the Lions. I think it's important to point out that when I look at the new faces in the back line, when I look at the back line in general, if I had to summarise it in one word, it would be gas. There are wheels everywhere in this South African squad. And I just wonder, with the impact of Tony Brown, one of the new coaches, and with the law changes that have come in, and with Rassie Erasmus using that quote, they don't know what we know. The South Africa have proven themselves very, very good at evolving. And I just look at the wheels that are in this back line, and I wonder whether World Rugby might regret depowering the scrum and loosening up the game a little bit, because it might just play perfectly into South Africa's hands. They have got some proper talent. Morne van den Berg, you'd say he's third choice scrum half in this squad behind Faf de Klerk and behind Grant Williams. All round explosive scrum half. I really like watching him for the Lions. Well deserved. Fly half then, what a story. This is like rugby's answer to a fairy tale. Last year he was playing at the Cheetahs. He got brought into the Sharks as a backup and he came into the side in the second half of the season and saved their season. Made the Sharks season a trophy-winning one. They're going to be playing Champions Cup rugby next season. Sia Masuku is going to be the main man at 10 for them in that, and he's now in a box camp as well. What a year he has had. Elsewhere in the back line, Jordan Hendrickse, who is going to be joining Sia Masuku at the Sharks from the Lions. Brilliant all-round player. Plays 10. He's looked really good at 12. Big guy, good boot on him, and good footwork and distribution as well. A real talent to watch is Jordan Hendrickse, and you think he could get better and better over the years. Ethan Hooker, again, I mean, that could be a backline in itself. Sia Masuku, Jordan Hendrickse, Ethan Hooker at the Sharks. You know, Lacanio Am and guys like that to come into the mix there as well. But Ethan Hooker's had a brilliant season. He's made the Sharks not miss Lacanio Am as much as they could have. And he's 21. He plays 12 and 13, big and quick. It's been a big find for the Sharks, this guy. And look at him in a box camp. Kwan Horn for the Lions. This guy's got wheels and a boot. 22 years of age. He's just stacked as a bloke. Squat and so strong and so explosive, which is very much how the Lions play. And I think might be the way that South Africa go in their attacking play. It'll be interesting to see whether Kwan Horn stays in the mix when Tyrone Green is available. Will he come into the box squad? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But he's had a good season. As has in the Lions back three, Edwil van der Merwe, winger. He's been close for a while now. He's 28 years of age. He's been knocking on the door, but there's been such talent in that back three. But at the moment, anyway, no Willie LaRue in the squad. Obviously, the injury to Kurt Lee Arendse, Kanan Moody's had a knock as well. There is an opportunity for someone on the wing. Mapimpi's getting older, still around and in the squad though, but there's an opportunity for someone. Could it be Edwil van der Merwe's time? He's just got so much gas. And finally, of the 11 uncapped players, Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu. Watched him play last night at Glasgow. He's a real talent. In a very, very poor Stormers team, he stood out and actually played well. And he's just got skills. He's had a few injuries, which has maybe stunted his progress as far as the box goes, but he's there now, and he's a guy that can play 10, can play 12, can play 15, and without Damien Willemse, he could definitely take that role for the box. Good goal kicker as well, which is quite interesting because Stormers don't use him to kick. So there you go. That's a little rundown on the 11 new faces. I will just mention a couple more players who are in the squad as well. Mchunu, the loosehead prop for the Sharks. He's actually got a couple of Springbok caps to his name. Didn't go well back in 2022 when he got that. Dan Human might be able to work his magic with him, the scrum coach, and see what he can do. But equally, there is Steenkamp for the Bulls, who's waiting on the sideline. Stephen Kitsoff is injured, and Thomas du Toit can play on both sides of the scrum. So he's got a lot of potential, but he's got a lot of going to be a lot of people trying to get that shirt off him as well. And Afalele Fassi, who played for the Box a couple of years ago. I mean, so quick, such a good counter-attacking fullback. And this is what I mean. If the Box are trying to evolve their attacking play and trying to go a bit looser and a bit faster, this guy could be absolutely at the heart of it. And with Willie LaRue, still a little magician, but pushing on in years. And if you're thinking towards the next World Cup, Afalele Fassi could be really important. He's got a massive opportunity. I wonder if his defence still needs a little bit of work. But they'll definitely, he's one player that's got an opportunity. As for the guys that are unlucky, tell me if you agree or disagree on these. Players that are unlucky to make the Box squad. Ruben van Heerden. Right. Better than Salman Murat, right? That would be my assessment watching the Stormers this season. I think he's very unlucky not to be in the squad. Tell me if you disagree. Comments down below. Frank Horn. He's had a great season for the Lions. He started every game in the URC, scored bagfuls of tries, been a constant ball-carrying threat. I think it just speaks to the sheer amount of talent that the Box have got in their back row that he is not in. And probably the same goes for Hakjiva Dayamani. Now, I watched him last night at Glasgow. Not good. Didn't have a good night at the office. And maybe he just needs to develop his all-round game. And Yeah, he's the kind of guy. He's so quick. You can imagine him being a really good, I don't know, outside centre or winger, but maybe needs to just evolve elements of his game in the tight, because that's a non-negotiable when it comes to international rugby. Nahamba at the Lions. I mean, some people would have been surprised to see Morne van den Berg in there and no Nahamba. Is that his defence that's cost him that, or is it funnily enough one of those things, because he plays 9 and 10, he's kind of not the best at either of them, but it's useful to have both options. He can feel a bit hard done by, but I get it. And Warwick Gallant, you feel, when it came down to it, probably Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu has got his spot, particularly in the absence of Damian Willemse. And I'm going to put one more name who isn't in the squad currently, but will be in the box squad in the not too distant future when he is fit. Henko van Veek is such a big prospect. And I wish he was fit, because particularly in that 13 jersey with Lacanio Am still injured and with only really Jesse Creel experienced in that jersey, that there was a big opportunity if he was fit for Van Veek. But he'll have his day. And finally on the video then, thank you very much for getting this far. I do appreciate it. If you have got this far, you obviously enjoy it, so hit subscribe. That'd be great. Who are the 3 people who I'm saying are most likely to make an impact at test level of the newer faces, or the guys that are back in the fold? Who are the people, 3 players, if you had to pick 3, give me 3 names in the comments down below. The 3 players most likely to break in on the test arena and be players that aren't just in a box alignment camp at the moment, but will be in Rugby Championship squads, will be in potentially World Cup squads in the future as well, when they travel to the UK and Ireland or Europe, sorry, in November. Who are the guys that could be in the box camp that travel up north? Because I'm going for, if I had to pick 3, Afalele Fassi, wheels, brilliant counter-attacking fullback, and an opportunity in that back 3. I'm also saying Edville van der Merwe. I'm saying him because of the injury to Kurtley Arendse, because of the age profile, and Damian Willemse, the age profile of Makazole Mapimpi. Potentially, I think Kanan Moody's going to be okay, isn't he? But there is an opportunity, and this guy is so fast that I think if South Africa want to speed things up, he could be the boy. So, or at least he's got an opportunity. So I'm putting him on the list. And the other one, because he is such a precocious talent in so many positions, just absolute stud of a player, Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu. That's my thoughts. I would love to know yours. Overall, though, you just have to say, bearing in mind the players that aren't even in the squad at this point, stacked. It's going to be good. Wales are probably a little bit apprehensive. What sort of a team is Rassie Erasmus going to play? He might just play all of the new guys and treat it like a bit of a free hit in that sense, and keep the powder dry on his experienced names. It's going to be interesting to watch, but I'll be following it on the channel. Hopefully you will be as well. I'll see you on the next one.